It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019 100.5, 1450 WGNSSports.com and Big G TV.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Dan Franz Concrete, a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. That's Dan Franz Concrete. And welcome back to the show. We welcome in Stewart's Creek head coach Ben Caudill. How you doing this morning, Coach?
Good morning.
All right, tough one last night. Suffered a 49-0 loss to Oakland. But it's always a chance to go out there when you get to play somebody like Oakland and your kids get to compete.
Yeah, you getting to go up against what's been the standard for a long time, and certainly since Coach Creasy's been there, and they are just really well put together in all three phases, and you always learn a lot about your team. You learn a lot about how to do things better and more efficiently when you go up against the best like them. Yeah,
and we know you've had some tough injuries this year, and the ones that you've had battled their hearts out last night.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with some guys, especially Braden Brown, who really has been forced kind of into a spot for us the last few weeks where he really can't come off the field, and I've been. I remember breaking my collarbone at Greer Stadium when we were playing Father Ryan in high school, and having your dreams crushed, and that's part of football.
Yep.
It's a physical game, and Oakland had some guys that they weren't able to put out there as well, and so there's opportunities there for other guys to step up, and we've got some guys that have done a great job, these last few weeks, kind of being put into a position where they got to rise up.
And, another couple other guys that stepped up for you last night, R.C. Davis, 11 of 18, 64 yards, quarterback. And Landon Wharf also had a forced fumble and a fumble recovery and 3 tackles last night. And those two guys are going to be our SRM Solid Performer, locally grown, nationally known SRM Concrete Athletes of the Week. Now, RC has grown as the year has gone on, and just another night of pretty efficient throwing the football.
Yeah, he made some good decisions, especially on third down at times. There were some times we struggled to get lined up around him, and we got some different faces around him here in recent weeks where I think it's put a little bit more on him to get them in the right position, and we've tried to simplify things to help with that, but certainly for him, as a junior, this year it's been good to get him experience. I think the game is slowly starting to slow down for him, and obviously he's played against some really good defenses. Certainly last night was as well, but he definitely had some bright spots for us last night.
And Landon, Landon had a forced fumble and a fumble recovery last night, and I've been impressed with your defense all year. That defense has been solid. They've been trying to been workhorses for you. I know last night you gave up 3 special team scores last night, but overall your defense has been pretty solid.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that was frustrating about last night is in the first quarter, we our first punt. It rolled about 10 yards, and our guys actually were trying to recover it because they thought it had hit one of Oakland's players, and we lost our contain lanes on that in that confusion, and we also had a great opportunity right when number 1 Craig Tutt fielded the ball to get him down on about the 25-yard line, and I don't care if a kid's going to Ole Miss or if he's, going to, UTC as a student, or whatever. We had a chance to get him down before he'd even moved his feet and didn't. And then our next punt, it basically hit our punter in the chest, and they blocked it. And so bottom line is, I think our defense, we were down 28-0 there in the first quarter, and they had only allowed 7 of them. And so that's one thing we told our guys, leading into the week is these guys, that we're playing, Oakland, they are not above. Their stars are not above playing on special teams. And certainly last night showed us how much our punt team matters. And I tell you, we have worked our punt unit this year more than we ever have. And so that was, to me, I was discouraged by that. And certainly there's some things that, I need to be involved in, making sure that doesn't happen again, which I will. But you got to give Oakland credit. I think, just getting ready for them. You watch them play Blackman, and I don't know how many teams Blackman has had that have been 8-1 in school history, but this is certainly one of the best teams Blackman has ever had. And you get ready for that game, and Blackman gets 3 or 4 first downs against Oakland. One of my kids' baseball coaches grew up in West Virginia, and he's talking about this team that Oakland played and how good they are out in West Virginia. Well, that team's, lost 49-0, and as of last week was 6-1, with their only loss being to Oakland. And, you just go on down the line, and they do have a lot of talent. But I'm just telling you, on defense, they fly around and play. They are easily – of all the teams I've watched on film this year, they play the hardest on defense. They fly to the ball. Last night we had a turnover that we got, in the fourth quarter. And, they put all their starters back out there. And you can tell how much it means to them to, prevent us from scoring, and keep their kind of scoreless streak alive. And however many points they're allowing, 4 or 5 a game, which is just unheard of. And I tell you, their offensive line and the guys that you don't read about a whole lot, I mean, it's like watching them on film, and it's like it's the highest honor of their life to block their tails off for those guys and protect the quarterback. And so, they play their guts out, and that's one thing that certainly has allowed them to, really be the barometer, not just in 6A, but throughout all classifications in Tennessee.
Yeah, and, you talked about a little bit about pride, and let's fast forward to next week where you're going to go in, you're going to play Smyrna, and this is a rivalry game. It's one every year that Stewart's Creek and Smyrna circle on their calendar. It's a Thursday night game, and you have a chance to prevent Smyrna from getting to the playoffs. And I know that's going to be a big deal for your guys next week coming out and bringing it. Yeah,
it's I guess it's been since 2020 2019, I believe, that we finished the season against Smyrna, because we've played them at different points in times the last 4 or 5 years. And, it's definitely a huge ball game. It's the next ball game for us. It's on the road. It's there. With all the rezoning, they definitely, benefited from – a few players on our roster that weren't able to stay at Stewart's Creek, so it's always, a big one. We got to turn the page fast because it's on Thursday night, that's always a challenge regardless of who you're playing on Thursday night, much less when it's, your biggest rival on the road. And so, they've done a great job kind of retooling some pieces, especially at, quarterback and a few other spots, throughout the year. As always, it's going to be, a game where, all 3 phases really matter. Every year there's, kind of big plays that you can look back on, especially on defense and special teams. And so those are the things that, we've got to, always be focused on when we go up against Smyrna.
Yeah, and, being on a Thursday night, it's a little less preparation time. Do you kind of like that going into that game, or would you have rather had it on Friday night? I know that would have been Halloween. How do you feel about the Thursday night game this week?
Yeah, we've actually played 2 games already. This is going to be our 3rd on Thursday night, as I'm sure most everybody in the county, I think, has already played on Thursday. So we're kind of used to our routine when we do have to play on Thursdays. It does, speed a whole lot of things up, but this is, kind of our year to do that, the last week of the season due to officiating and whatnot, And so, but yeah, it's something that certainly all of us around here, have got to deal with this week. Playing on Thursday, and going to be a tremendous opportunity for our team to, to finish, to display toughness, handling adversity on a short week, and so those are going to be some of the things that we, not just need to emphasize, but that we need to take heart to. The leaders on our team, need to, take ownership of that this week, and that's going to be the challenge for them. And I'm excited to see, how they handle that, and as we turn the page and get ready for Smyrna.
And that's always the thing. Last game of the year and all that. You have a lot of young guys that have played for you this year, and ending on a good note and that kind of stuff. What's your message to those guys? As obviously your seniors want to go out on a high, but the guys that are coming back, setting the foundation for next season and how that team is going to, how we're going to expect things to be. What do you kind of tell your young guys?
Yeah, I unfortunately, I told them last night, this is the first time in my career that, I'm able to say going into, the 10th game that it's going to be our last game. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that, I've got a whole lot of experience with that, because I don't, nor do most, if not all, of our coaches. And so this is an opportunity for us to dig deep, and have some pride about us. And to me, I'm a big believer in, if you're going to basketball next or wrestling next or whatever, if it's an off-season job that you have, how you finish is going to be how you start whatever is next in your life. And so that's, I think that's a message that's been on my heart, probably the last, I guess, however many hours since the game finished, 9-10 hours. Like you said, for several of our guys, next season's already started. We really are going to be able to return probably about 9-10 guys on offense, which is huge. To get all these guys so much experience, all of our ball carriers, our tight ends, our the guys that catch it for us are all coming back. Quarterback, obviously, got some great linemen coming back, and this is an opportunity for them to, go on the road, and experience a rivalry game on the road as a young guy, and also for our seniors to, to dig deep and to strive to, finish what's been a great career for all of them, and so much they've accomplished. And to me, I think this is one of those weeks where, Smyrna poses plenty of challenges, but this is kind of a, look in the mirror type week, I think, for us.
Well, we appreciate it, Coach, and good luck, and good luck next week, and off season. We'll see you next time.
Yes,
That's
sir.
Coach Ben Caudill of Stewart's Creek. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Rick's Barbecue, serving up the best smoked barbecue ribs and many local favorites on Warrior Drive. Locally operated by Anne Marie Brents and the Lanning family.